You ever stop to notice how everyone's always waiting around for something? Waiting for the leadership or answers, or waiting for somebody to show up and magically fix their mess for them. Look like there's some cavalry out there somewhere just over the hill ready to charge in and save the day. People, let me tell you something. Nobody's coming. Not your boss, not the government, not your neighbors. Hell, not even God himself. Nobody. So if you're sitting around waiting around for someone else to just step in and fix things, well, you're already lost. The world isn't sending anybody or anything to save you. Oh, hell, all it sends nowadays are problems, and you either get crushed by them or you learn how to handle them. And I'll be real with you about something. The waiting and the silence and thinking someone would show up, that's what almost broke me once. I mistakenly thought that somebody around me would take notice, or that somebody would care enough about me to step in and help. But it seems like every time I reached out, the only thing I got back was silence. And in that same silence, it'll eat you alive, man, if you let it. And then one day, just out of the blue, it hit me. Nobody was coming to save me. That this was my responsibility, my mess and my fight, and mine alone. And I knew that the longer I waited to act, the deeper the hole was getting. So one day I just made a decision. I stood up. And not because I felt strong, because at that time I didn't. And not because I was ready. I guess I must have been in hindsight. But I did it because at that time, I didn't have any other choice. But you know what, people? That was the shift. It was in that moment when I made that decision that I stopped being prey and I started to move like a storm. Let me explain something to you about storms. Storms don't ask for anyone's permission. They don't negotiate, and they don't sit quietly in the corner waiting its turn. They move and they rumble and they shake and they tear through and they clear out all the dead weight. And it forces change on people, whether they're ready or not. Now, I think we all know this by now, but most people are sheep. They'll all huddle together during a storm and pray it passes over them. And you see, though, that's the difference. While some people cling together, hoping and praying that they'll be spared, others will rise up and become something that can't be ignored. And that's what survival looks like. It means choosing not to be a victim anymore, or a spectator just sitting on life's sidelines, but choosing instead to become a force of nature that must be reckoned with. And let's be brutally honest here. Most people nowadays are soft, too soft. Most are addicted to comfort, and they're terrified to death of struggling. And they've been misled to believe that strength is selfish and that resilience is outdated. But we'll see about that. When everything around them collapses and there's no safety net to catch them, that those same people will look around lost and hopeless and helpless, waiting for somebody to come along and tell them what to do. And if you're feeling this in your soul, in your heart, wherever you're feeling it, it's because deep down you already know. You can't just keep waiting around till that happens. Because you're not the kind of person who's going to sit there helpless and just wasting away. And also because you probably know by now that no one's coming to pull you out. You are responsible for you. So you've got to be the one who moves. And that movement, people, that is the rescue that you're waiting for. Let me ask you something. You ever see a man walk into a room and you can feel it? You can feel his presence. And it's not about his muscles or his money. It's it's something much deeper than that. It's in his eyes, and it's in his stance, and it's in the way he carries himself. And it screams out to the world, I've carried all this weight alone, and I didn't fold, and I didn't bend the knee. That's what I'm talking about, people. That's that storm energy. Because once you've carried it yourself, you understand what it feels like to get crushed by the weight of life and still make a choice to get back up for some more. And you know in your heart that if you have to, you can do it again each and every time. And people, trust me when I tell you, that's a power that no one can hand to you. You have to earn that. Now, don't get it twisted, and don't twist what I'm saying. Life isn't about shutting anybody out. And it's not about playing some tough guy who doesn't need anybody either. Because we all need brothers. We all need people in our lives that we can trust and depend on. But there's a hell of a difference between leaning on a man that you respect and trust and sitting around begging and praying and hoping for a miracle to happen. Because that first one, that's a show of strength. And that other one, that's more like slow suicide. And there are too many men out there just wasting their lives waiting in that second line. And yes, I am qualified to speak on it because I lived there once, but I refuse to stay there. I can't tell you how many nights I just would lay in bed, man, looking up at that ceiling and thinking to myself that there's no way I'll make it through this. I just can't do it anymore. But guess what happened? I did. And the sun still came up that next day. And I stood up anyway. And a lot of times, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. And you know what, people? That's where real strength is born. It's in those moments when life isn't easy for you and when you're not on top and you're not winning. It's when your chest feels crushed and heavy and you still manage to somehow get up and push through. Now, when I was younger, an old man once said to me, iron can only be hardened by fire. I didn't know what he was talking about at the time. I would later come to find out he was absolutely correct. And that's when I realized every scar and every setback and every sleepless night that I ever had in my whole life, that was the testing ground. That was the fire. That was the force that was turning me and making me unbreakable. That's what turns you from normal into iron, those trials and tribulations, people. So where do I stand now? Easy. I'm a force. I stand alone because I know nobody's coming. But you know what? I don't need them to. Because I'm not waiting around anymore for anybody to come and bail me out. And I don't sit around and hope for prayers or miracles. I'm moving. And I'm pushing forward, always forward. People, make no mistake about it, I am that storm. I am the storm that clears out the dead weight in my life. All that stuff that tried to hold me back and drag me down, it's gone. And I am that force that keeps going when the rest of the world may choose to fold. I'm not giving up. And make no mistake, people, I'm not talking about strength in terms of lifting weights or being in a bar fighting. That's not strength. I'm talking about the kind of strength that it takes to drag your ass up off the floor over and over again when there's nobody there to encourage you or to see you get up, when life is kicking your ass. But you do get up each and every time. And that strength isn't showing up again the next day. Even though it's not pretty and it's not flashing hell, you may not want to do it. But you see, that's what makes you bulletproof, because a lot of people wouldn't. So here's my challenge to you. Ask yourself this. What part of your life are you still hoping someone else will magically swoop in and fix for you? And what has carrying all that extra weight around cost you? Because in life, people, you learn early, or you should have, you're either predator or prey. And you'll either learn to be the storm or you're going to get devoured by one. So the next time life whispers to you, you're done. Laugh to yourself. Look life in the eye and let life know. Just watch me. And when that silence, that awful silence tells you you're all alone out here, laugh at that silence and stand up anyway and let that silence know I'm all I need. And people, when the weight of life itself tries to bury you alive, stand up, push back, and push back again until that man in the mirror finally says it with you. I am the storm and I cannot be stopped. And if any of this hits home with you, please, by all means, drop a line down below and let's talk on it. You're not the only one carrying all this, and neither am I. And hey, stick around. We're far from done. But at any rate, take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you in the next one.